Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
So we're going to talk now about our one of our wonderful sponsors at Boomer Times, the Boomer Expo, which is coming up on Tuesday, July the 25th, over there at Seminole Casino. And the big sponsor of we have two, but one is, of course, very, very special to us. It's, of course, called Apple Insurance and Financial Services, a full-service insurance agency with Blue Cross. And, you know, I was telling Mark Fine, who is our guest and managing partner of Apple Insurance and Financial Services, that my mother, who passed away, I guess, in 2003 at the age of 94, had Blue Cross, and I guess it was called Blue Cross Blue Shield, for many, many, many years.
Correct.
Why do you think she did that?
Why do you think she did what?
Stayed with an agency like that.
Because it's a reputable company, and especially here in Florida, it represents all Floridians. There's a lot of insurance companies doing business here in Florida. They're not based here in Florida. The first sign of trouble in any part of Florida, they just pull out of Florida or pull out of certain counties. Whereas you have Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, which represents everybody in Florida, is in every county in the state of Florida.
Now that's, especially now with the insurance quandary
Correct.
that we're having, that's a wonderful thing. Well, yes, your reputation's great, and I was telling Mark when he came in that my mother told me I should have an apple a day, and of course that's your big logo, which is great, Apple Insurance. So, yeah, I'm very impressed with what your organization does. What do you think? What do you think has made Blue Cross so good? I mean, is the way they pay their doctors, or what makes a company like that last?
I can't necessarily comment on how they pay their doctors, but I do know they pay in a timely fashion. I do know that our networks of doctors are fantastic compared to a lot of other companies. There's such a wide variety of products offering different networks. We have products where you can have 34,000 providers in the state of Florida, plus every state in the country, and about 45 other countries. There aren't really any other insurance companies that can offer that type of network.
And that's really so important to people. Of course,
Correct.
That's why people are, don't know what to do now. They're having a big problem with all this. But it's nice to have companies that have had lasting power, staying power. That's
Correct.
really what everyone's looking for.
Correct. And that's the other thing, like I said, with Blue Cross is, the other companies that come into Florida, if they experience a loss, say in Broward and Dade County or Palm Beach County, they can pull out and go somewhere else. Florida Blue, which used to be Blue Cross of Florida, has nowhere to go.
Because it's named Florida Blue.
It's a Florida company, so, if they pull out of Florida, then they're done.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very good point, Mark. Well, so let's say that one of your salespeople just sells a policy. What are they going to sell? What do they say to the potential, I guess they're a patient or a client? What do you call customer? What do you call somebody?
They're members.
Members, a
Yes.
member. Okay. What do they say?
Well, it really depends on what type of product they're selling, the member.
Okay. Give us some choices.
And you mentioned before that we're a full service agency.
And tell people what that means.
We do under 65 health insurance, all the Obamacare plans and off marketplace plans. We do accident plans, critical illness, hospital plans. We do long-term care insurance. We do Medicare insurance.
Wow.
We're very fortunate with Florida Blue. As far as I know, Florida Blue is the only company that has the under 65 products, has the Medicare Advantage products, which we have 3 different plans of those to choose from, as well as having all the Medicare supplements and the Medicare drug plans. So when someone purchases a plan from us before they turn 65, we can guide them into their 60s, and when they get to Medicare age, we have a vast amount of products that we can put them on and keep them in the Florida Blue family.
That is just that's amazing, isn't it? So when they chose Apple Insurance, because you represent them, they were very careful. That's a very important point, I think.
Yeah, Blue. The one thing that distinguishes Florida Blue from all the other insurance companies is that it, for its individual products, operates with contracted general agencies. So we're not a brokerage. We're not brokers. We're not selling the plan that's going to pay the highest commission. which a lot of brokers out there will put people on a plan that just pays a high commission, is not necessarily the greatest fit for their clients. We believe in the Blue Cross products and the Florida Blue products, and that's what we, put our clients in.
Yeah, that's so important nowadays because people, they are confused. But I like the fact that you're saying that someone could start out as a person under 60, 65 or 40, and then as they age, they can just jump into one of the HMOs if that's what they want, or what other. They don't have to do that.
Correct. We've got the HMO. We've got 2 different PPOs. We have all the Medicare supplements. And basically, we have about 60 agents that work for our agency now. When we started out, my partner and I think there were 4 or 5 of us 7 years ago. And now we're up to over 60 agents. We get to know our clients. We're a local agency. We grew with a grassroots campaign. In the past, when we didn't have online applications, we met with all of our clients personally. Obviously, that's hard to do now when you're selling across the state, but we try to have a personal relationship with all of our clients. That way, when they do get to their Medicare age, they trust us to put them in a Medicare plan that suits their needs.
This is extraordinary. I didn't know much about, I knew about Blue Cross, but I didn't know about Apple Insurance, and I'm so glad that you came here to talk. This is Mark Fine, and he's a managing partner of the Apple Insurance and Financial Services, and they're one of the top Florida Blue agencies in the state of Florida. I want to be able to give information for people to get in touch with. Would it be appleinsurance.com?
Yes, appleinsurance.com is our website.
Okay.
And people can actually go on there, search the products that we sell, and they can also set up appointments on there with an agent. We have a nice link on there where you can make an appointment with one of our agents, which is a very nice part of that.
I think it's very important because so many agents, years ago, my mother and father were divorced, and so my father started, he had a little dementia, and he would have one company. The next month he'd have another company. Then the next month he'd have another company. That's before they changed the policy that you can only do it a certain month of the year.
Correct. And there's a lot. I'm not going to say that doesn't still happen because there are a lot of unscrupulous agents out there that will switch people left and right. One of the things Medicare does offer great protection to the seniors. We follow all the rules. Florida Blue is very strict with that, and our agency as well. Setting up appointments with clients, we go meet with them. You have to get what's called a scope of appointment, which is a form basically giving your agent permission to speak with you about Medicare plans. We get that ahead of time. We don't solicit business without following those rules, and a lot of other agents out in the business do not do that.
That's great. I really appreciate that. I happen to be a gerontologist, and so my business is trying to protect the seniors in all ways. And this is I love this because everyone knows that health and wealth, the most important things to an older adult and to their children. So I'm sure that you even have adult children who are calling you to make sure that what their family member is getting into is good.
Correct. Sometimes we deal with the children first. They want all the information, then they set us up with their parents.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. We do have this enormous amount, of course, baby boomers and then the senior adults who need the help. So when you say that you can sell anywhere in Florida, so let's say someone deals with you, Apple Insurance, and you're here in South Florida. Now they move to the West Coast. What happens? Do they stay with your insurance company?
Yes.
Then you
and as a matter of fact, we
actually
do. We actually have a satellite office on the West Coast of Florida, so we have an agent over there. But when you sign up with an agency, you're basically with that agency forever as long as you stay with Blue Cross. Florida Blue is very good to the agents and good to the agencies. Once you have a client, they try to keep that client with you.
That makes sense because people trust. The whole thing
Correct.
is trust. And now people have become where they used to trust. They don't trust because they don't know what's going on.
Correct. There's nothing worse than if you move to a different part of the state and all of a sudden your insurance company switches you to a new agent who you've never met before and have no relationship with, and someone who you might have called once a month. Where we have that relationship with the clients, that still continues.
Oh, that's really very good. So, of course, Florida Blue. So the Florida Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Blue Shield is gone now. Is that
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida is gone. It's Florida Blue. I forget how many years ago they changed the name, but they really wanted to emphasize
Right.
They're a Florida company, and they're all about Florida, so that's why they changed the name to Florida Blue.
Right. Yeah, no, I see my mother's card in my mind because she always had that card, and she always felt so happy with that. And so, I'm sure that, and, she had it a long, long time. How long has Florida Blue been here in Florida?
I think a little over 60 years or so.
That's right. Then that's what happened. So they were early.
Correct. And I still catch myself saying Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida all the time.
Right. But they came in, and that was they're probably it said that there are some other agencies that do handle Florida Blue.
Correct. Blue Cross has a lot of agencies around the state. In South Florida, as far as agents go, we're just about the largest down here.
That's wonderful.
There's a lot of other large agencies around the state as well.
Well, you must be doing something really good, and that's how we always know it's referrals or people. One time you do something wrong, and of course the information gets out there, and it's very bad. So it's better not to do that. Okay, well let's just go back to let's take some of these different insurance plans. So is it a 60-year-old or a 65-year-old or a 62-year-old that can get on your Medicare HMO?
As far as straight Medicare goes, it's generally a 65-year-old.
Okay.
However, people on Medicare disability are also on Medicare.
All right.
As long as they've been on, believe they qualify being on Medicare disability for 2 years, then they can get Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. But generally speaking, it's age 65 and older.
All right. So people who are younger and they want insurance, they're going to get Blue Cross, and you have different kinds of insurance. You have some that,
correct,
let's say top of the line, and then some they're less money because you don't. What's that word when catastrophe? There's a catastrophe policy, right?
Technically speaking, yes, but one of the other things that really distinguishes Florida Blue from the other companies is that we have 3 different products for people that are not on Medicare under the age of 65. We have a low-cost HMO. We have a middle-level, what's called an EPO, which is short for an exclusive provider organization. Operates just like a PPO. They don't have to have a referral to go see specialists. They don't have to pick a primary care doctor. They just have a smaller network of doctors to choose from. And then we have our Blue Options PPO plan, which is by far the largest network anywhere in the state of Florida.
And so they choose. Do they choose depending on the cost? Is that
some people do choose?
Is?
Some people do choose on cost, and unfortunately, a lot of people who choose on cost wind up getting themselves in trouble. That's why our agency is successful, because we have agents that sit down and actually listen to the clients. We find out what doctors they go to. We find out what medications they're on, and then we do the research for them. And, a lot of doctors out there don't take, so to speak, they say that they don't take Obamacare plans. The one good thing with Florida Blue is, unlike other companies, they didn't come out with brand new networks for their marketplace Obamacare plans. Our Blue Options plan, our Blue Select plan, or our My Blue HMO, or our Blue Care HMO, if a doctor participates in that network across the board, whether it's Obamacare marketplace or off marketplace, it's the same network. A lot of companies have a separate network for their Obamacare marketplace plans versus their non-marketplace plans. Blue Cross, Florida Blue did not do that, which is a very strong thing to have.
Right, because I guess it affects the doctors.
Correct.
So the ones, that's right, some of them didn't want to be in the Obamacare, but they've been in your
Correct.
other network.
We do get some doctors that tell the patients, I'm sorry, we don't take Obamacare. Then we have to call the doctor's office and kind of enlighten them and say, listen, we're a Blue Cross agency, and you're in the Blue Options network, or you're in the My Blue network. Mm-hmm. You're contracted for this. Doesn't matter whether it's marketplace or off marketplace. You guys, need to take that plan. Then if they give us problems with that, then we just let Blue Cross know and they handle it. But for the most part, it works out very well.
I think this is wonderful. I knew when you were coming today that this was going to be very good, because you are a sponsor and we appreciate that. But I haven't had this much information about this ever. This is lovely how you're doing this. As a matter of fact, I hear that your booth at the Boomer Expo is going to be fantastic. We've given you a very large space.
Correct.
And I don't know any secrets that you're going to do there that I should know about?
We'll have to see when you get there.
Okay. That's right. Well, I have to say, though, that it's always a lot of fun, because we dedicate it to the veterans. And we do a flag salute, and we sing the songs of all the different, all the different levels, all the different, what word am I looking for? Air Force and Marines, all the different services. Mm-hmm. That's the word, right? Services. And so I think that it'll be very exciting. Do you actually know how many veterans that you have in your plans? Do you have a lot? I'll bet you do.
We do have a lot, but I could not give you a number.
Right, but you have a lot of veterans, I'm sure, in the HMOs. See, people really, they don't want to fool around with companies that are come in and out. And we know a lot of the ones that have come in and out. And They want to go to one, and they don't have to think about it. I think that's why my mother stayed on it. It was never a discussion.
Right. And that happens, like you said, that happens a lot. There are a lot of companies that come in and promise this, promise that. This is free, that's free. Then when you sign up for these plans, you discover that there's no doctors that take the plan. Then all of a sudden that company is gone.
Right.
And, Florida Blues never left.
Do you have dental plans?
Yes, Blue Cross Florida Blue has actually 3 different dental plans.
No, that's great.
Yeah, there's 2 different PPO plans. There's an HMO plan. So we've got any type of plan to fit anybody's budget.
Yeah, because dental has not been very, very strong in anything.
Correct. And with the Medicare plans, they offer some basic dental benefits for some of them, but nothing, spectacular. But the individual dental plans, the clients that take those generally keep them for a long time.
I'm sure that's a very good thing for them. And do you have, this is crazy, but do you have something specific for cancer plans?
We have not a Florida Blue product. It's a subsidiary of Florida Blue, but we have critical illness plan, which pays out for cancer, heart attack, strokes. It's about 10 or 12 critical illnesses that if you develop one of those, they actually pay you a lump sum of money, which, helps out a lot of people because once you develop one of those illnesses, the income stops. And, if you stop working, these plans pay you a lump sum of money, which can help you pay your medical bills, keep your income from your job going until you can return to work, if you can return to work. And on top of that, we also have, which I mentioned previously, the long-term care insurance.
Right.
Long-term care insurance is a great product to have as well, because when you do develop any types of illnesses or anything like that, you got to recover in a facility or need home health care. That's what these plans are developed for, and it pays a professional to come to your house, or you can go to a facility for someone to take care of you, where you don't have to rely on your relatives to take care of you. And the cost of, home health care and, facility care is becoming outrageous, and that's what these plans help take care of.
I wish I had known you when I took long-term health care insurance in 1997 because I saw it was coming.
Absolutely.
And problem is, though, when people do this, they really should take the highest amount of money they're going to get. I didn't do that. I didn't, just did it. And then also that there should be an escalation. And so do you have things like that?
Well, yeah. Long-term care insurance policies really depend on, a lot of factors. Obviously, affordability.
Yes.
Someone who, can only afford $150, $200 a month. Right. And if they're 60, 65 years old, is not going to be able to afford the highest amount.
Right.
But one of the good things with long-term care is that you can purchase a product that's going to help pay part of your expenses for you. It doesn't have to pay all of your expenses for you, but at least you have a cushion knowing you have something that's going to help you pay some of it. Doesn't have to pay all of it.
Yes.
But you have something that's going to help you pay some of it.
Oh, definitely. And, of course, a lot of the adult children are now having to help, and that's
Correct.
not really fair.
Most of our long-term care, a lot of our long-term care policies we sell are generated by the kids calling because they've seen some of their friends' parents, what they've gone through, losing all their savings, taking care of their parents, and they said, we don't want this to happen to our parents. So they contact us about the long-term care, and then we speak to them, see what they can afford, and then develop a plan to fit them based on that.
Are you still able to sell people long-term health care as, let's say, if they're in their 70s or 80s? Wouldn't it be cost prohibitive?
It can be very costly, but you know what? When you look at the big picture, if you're spending, say, $6,000, $7,000 a year to take care of your parents versus what the cost of long-term care actually could cost you, long-term care could wind up costing you $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year
easily
for the care.
Yeah.
So if you spent $6,000 or $7,000 a year because your parents are a lot older, and you did that for, say 10 years, and they needed the care, even though it's costing you that money, you're still saving
You're
money
absolutely
based
right.
on the actual cost of the care.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. The thing is, I didn't even know if you would sell long-term health care to
I
someone
think
in
75 to 80 is about the limit, but, we sell long-term care to people in their 40s, in their 30s.
See, now that's smart. See, I think anyone listening to this show, boy, these kids, because it's so inexpensive at that age.
Correct. And what we do is we have a program that does a comparison on waiting. It shows you what your premium is today versus, say, waiting 10 years. And when you look at the big picture, it shows you that actually purchasing it at a certain younger age over the long run saves you money than purchasing the policy, say, when you're 10 years older.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you do that. See, that's what people need to see because it's hard to envision all this. But, yeah, I know that people are paying $6,000, $7,000.
Yeah. And we have clients paying $2,000 a year, paying $1,800 a year because of their younger age.
Right. No, right. That's really spectacular. So, it's a whole new world today from 25 years ago, and people always equated long-term health care. They always said, as you know, I don't want to go live in a nursing home. Right. Well,
I think about 70% of all long-term care claims are actually for home health care.
Is that right?
Well, if you had your choice to recover in your house and have somebody come to your house and take care of you versus getting put into a facility, as long as you're physically able to recover at home, you're going to choose home. And that's what the beauty of the long-term care policies do, is they let somebody come to your house and take care of you in your own house.
That's a great discussion. So you see, we have an expert that's telling us, don't think in terms of a nursing home. Think in terms of home care.
Correct.
And that's why you're going to want to do this. So I'm going to give some more information again. This is a great conversation. I think you could be very helped. Just go to the website, appleinsurance.com, and see all the various insurance products. You probably won't get to talk to Mark, but they'll refer you to someone, and I'm sure that he's well trained all his agents. That's 60 agents out there.
And they can actually call our office too. We're local here in Fort Lauderdale. It's 954-580-8100.
Okay, I'm going to write that down again. So it's 954. Yep.
580. 8100.
Okay. Well, that's really important that people do this. Don't wait. That's been the big problem with an older adult. If you've ever been into their homes, as I have, they have piles of paper all over their table. They don't know what they're doing, and then they just keep putting it off. They wait day after day, and then all of a sudden something happens that's not very good, and then they're really in trouble. Yeah,
and the other thing about not waiting to purchase, a product like long-term care is that when you're healthy, that's the time to buy long-term care insurance. Because if something happens to you and you develop some type of condition, there's a good chance you might not be able to get it.
Okay, now you just brought up something, though. Let's get off the long-term health care. Let's go back now to insurance. There's a big discussion about pre-existing problems. Mm-hmm. Tell us how that works with your insurance.
With Medicare or non-Medicare?
Let's say everything.
All right, well, currently right now, mostly every product is guarantee issue. There's no medical questions. Nobody can get turned down for anything.
Fabulous.
And it's supposed to stay that way. Very few times you ever have to prove insurability. For one Medicare plan, you might have to at one point, but for the most part, everything else is guarantee issue. There's no medical questions asked. Everybody's guaranteed.
Wow. You can imagine that's really been the big issue now that you're hearing. So that's the way it should be. I mean, it's not fair otherwise. I just love this. You've really enlightened us an awful lot. I'm so glad that you were able to come to the studio and do this. And I know that when people go to the Boomer Expo, they certainly will find that your agents can help them with all this discussion, too.
Correct. Some of our most knowledgeable senior agents will be at the expo to help anybody answer questions, and take care of anything they might need.
Right. So Blue Cross, and we're not going to say, no, it's Florida Blue. Sorry, it isn't Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's Florida Blue, but it's Florida. That's what I think I like about it. You've been dealing with almost 60 years with people here in Florida.
Correct.
And it's Apple Insurance. Remember the apples a day? I know you're going to give away apples. No, I'm kidding. But
we actually have the squeeze.
Oh, you do?
The squeeze stress things.
That.
They're red apples, yeah.
That was smart.
Everybody loves those.
Yeah, they do, and it's important. A lot of people. I ought to do that too to keep my hands nimble. Okay, well, I guess that we are kind of out of time here. It's been a great show, and I look forward to seeing you there myself. And people will be able to not only hear the show on YouTube, but they will be able to meet Mark. I hope you're going to be there, Mark.
Yep.
Good. So look for Mark Fine, who is the managing partner there at Apple, and say hello and tell him you heard him on the radio. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.